you really want to get over your ex, you're going to have to stop checking their social media, and that's the way it is. My love, you need a little reality check. You need to check on yourself and see what's working and what isn't. Because if something's draining your energy and you're overthinking and you're stuck in a loop, we need to change something, okay? First of all, let me just remind you of who the hell you are. Okay, like seriously, sometimes we forget who the hell we are and we have been focusing on somebody too much and it's just been stressing you the hell out, like the F out of your absolute system. And you need to remind yourself that you're here to thrive and to have a good life and to not be focusing on somebody who gave you the bare minimum, my love, because that's just the way it is, okay? So, first of all, I would like you to write a list of reasons as to why you broke up with that person or as to why you ended things with that person. Let's just pretend that, well, they actually just didn't show up for me. They weren't planning things, they weren't organizing things for me. If that's one of the first reasons, then you write it down. Then you just keep making the list. Why? Because this will serve you as a reminder as to why you're not with that person anymore, as to why you decided to end things in the first place. Okay. This is a really important one. And you might want to put it on the bedside table, right? Maybe it's something that you check before you even consider looking at their social media or what they're doing with their lives. This is super, super important. It'll keep you in check. It will remind you as to like, wait a minute, like I didn't want to be with that person any longer in the first place. That's why I ended things with them, right? Number two would be like focus on your life, focusing on making it really, really good and doing the things that you really want that fill your heart space. So I always say, to be honest, like going on trips, like organizing travels, things like this is a really good idea. But then again, like not everybody can go on trips all the time, right? So if you're one of those people that is like, no, I actually can't. I work on site, like I work in person and I don't have holidays booked yet or whatever. Cool. Don't do it. Don't do it. But just make sure that you have organized activities for yourself that actually make you look forward to things, right? Make you look forward to things that don't involve him. Super important that you have things going on that aren't keeping your mind stuck in a loop and focusing on that person. Okay. A really important thing here as well is to like remind yourself of the things that you can do on your own without needing his help. Sometimes you get kind of stuck on thinking like, wait, I needed him for certain things, like I needed his help for certain things. So focus on things that make you feel strong independently, and also like of course like we're not going to go into this thing of like, oh, I'm a strong independent woman, whatever, like who cares, right? Like that's great, but also you need to feel that within yourself. You need to feel like you can do things on your own or with the help of your friends and things like this. So making basically doing things that remind you of your power and remind you that actually I can be on my own and I can do things on my own. Okay, this is super, super important. Um, a really important aspect here is social media because sometimes like our feed is filled with like engagements, it's filled with like new relationships, happy couples and things like this. And you need to remember that social media will show you the highlights of people's lives and not the fights, the discussions, the arguments, or clashes and difficult conversations that couples tend to go through, or, if they've broken up like 2 days ago and suddenly they're fine again and things like that, right? So it's really important to be aware of how much you're actually looking into that stuff because sometimes like it's not true stuff. Okay, like be aware that these are highlights and that your life is still amazing, that you do not have to be in a relationship or with someone. Okay, you need to take away this belief that you have to be in this perfect relationship to have a really beautiful life. This is not the case. I know a lot of single people who are living the best like life. They are living their best lives and that they're not in a relationship, they're not married or whatever. So it's about kind of doing a bit of a cleanse on your feed and looking at what you're basically like having a check-in and seeing, okay, what am I spending my time looking at? Because this after a breakup, not ideal, girl. But I think more importantly is just having like a little mindset check and like checking on yourself and seeing like, hey, how am I feeling with all of this? Where is my sadness coming from? Like, where are the struggles coming from? Because we all know that having your heart broken or that being broken up with or breaking up with someone is not an easy thing. It's challenging. It can be really sad. It can you can have a lot of resentment in you. You can have a lot of anger in you. And this is okay. These emotions are okay to go through, just as long as you don't get stuck in the loop of looking at their social media, of trying to get them back, of trying to, text them to get their attention again and things like that, because you need to remember why you ended things with that person, and you need to understand that it's okay for it to hurt for a little bit. It's okay for a breakup to be painful for a little while. But you still have the strength to be on your own and get through this. You've gotten through difficult things before. Of course, you can get through a breakup. You have got the strength for this, and you've got this. Like, just remember that. Build yourself up. Like, have your affirmations in the morning, have your meditation if you want to in the morning. Spend time in nature, like go to the beach, do things that really, really make your heart space feel full. If this area in your body feels a bit painful, or that broken feeling, like we'll say, or whatever, like you do have the strength to get over a breakup, and you will be tempted to contact them. You will be tempted to get them back, or get back into the relationship, but just remember that that's not always the best solution. It's not always the best solution to go back to an ex, and to kind of restore what was lost, we'll say, because sometimes, like, when things end, it really is for the best, and you need to remind yourself that. I know it can be really tricky when you're in it, and when you're feeling sad, especially at nighttime. Notice the times when you tend to be sad. Sometimes it happens to be in the evenings or at night, or the times that you spent with him the most. So just be aware of the times where you're most vulnerable, and try to have things, like try to have connection, human connection time during those times. It could be with your friends, with your siblings, with you know like, you could be like, whatever feels you makes you feel most nourished, and like where you can have affection without the kind of boyfriend or husband or fiance situation. Okay. um Obviously, like, I guess the most obvious one is obviously have some therapy or like mentorship going on, something that you feel supported in. I always like really, I'm a real big fan of therapy myself. Like, I think it really helps people to, really this at least get it all out, like whatever is going on in your body and your soul, like get it all out and express it. Use your throat chakra, because if it's stuck there, it, like, the body will keep it, and you don't want that. We don't want to keep that energy stuck in our bodies. Like, feel free to, of course, express it, and don't feel guilty about it. I think it's really important. I'm in no way sponsoring anything, by the way. Like, I've just personally found like therapy since I was 14 super helpful for everything, and especially for like a breakup and things like this, okay? And then lastly, like, take care of yourself as much as you can. Like, make sure you're nourished, make sure you're eating, and like moving your body in ways, like, of course, like there's physiology, and then taking care of your mental state, right? But physiology will help, like, do things that make your body happy, hydrate properly, like these are the obvious ones. Get some movement in, whether that's like walks in nature or actually going to the gym, whatever like feels right for you at that moment. You could be going swimming, you could be playing tennis, you could be doing anything, but little walks with music, like, of course, try to get some upbeat music so that, just try to get that serotonin in, and try to get some movement so that you're kind of training your body to focus on like the good and the positive, and just making your life feel good without this person. I know it can be tricky because it feels like a huge chunk of your life, like, basically got pulled out of your life, of your system. But but this is exactly why it's a really good time to kind of focus on yourself and take care of your body and nourish and rest and do all of the beautiful things that you want to be doing. Okay. So that's basically like the super, super simple, straightforward tips that I can come up with today because I know how tricky those breakups tend to be. So stay focused on my YouTube videos because I'm going to be doing quite a bit like this to help you get through difficult times, through difficult endings, and also, of course, to take care of yourself and to increase your self-worth and self-esteem because that's what we're here for. I love you lots, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.